Gan crab found out and booted me off the thing. My Marxist-Leninist wife looked at me like, how do you get fired from 2 illegal jobs in the same week? I don't know. Anyway, me, upset, I have to get back. So I remember I was trying to figure out how am I gonna get back at these dudes. Now, my dad spent 22 years in the Army. He was 7th Special Forces Group. And I was helping him clean the closet one day, or the attic, and Special Operations book of the doctrine. If you know anything about them, you could drop off 12 of them, come back 6 months later, the whole country's on fire. So I read the thing, and said, what could I take from here and bring it to here to make me win? So what I found out was, what I'm gonna do is every time anybody has a problem with these guys, I'm gonna hand them a phishing template and say, hey, go get your money back. And I would fish. I would just hand out phishing stuff, tell everybody to fish. I had like thousands of servers, and this angered the Empire admins. It would be like the end of the month, my rent, I would pay my rent, and I would contact the admin, but hey man, thank you for paying my rent. I was like, oh yeah, I just had a great time at the bar, thank you for covering that thing. He would be pissed. Yeah, they hated me. And with good thing, I was stealing money and encouraging other people to take, my thing was, why let them have all the fun, making all the money, we could just steal it all together, So that happened. I'm getting close on time, so I'm kind of moving over. Got onto a different market, this market, Big Blue. Again, the admin didn't really know much. I think he got hacked, and then I came on and tried to fix up his market for him. But it would bring a lot of heat. People found out that I was there, working there, fishing, and working for this market at the same time. So it would bring a lot of heat. The guy, the first thing I did is when I got control of the server, the pin test monkey PHP shell, just put a bunch of shells in there. And I'm glad I did, because if you ever seen the meme of like Mo Slizlak throwing out Barney and he comes back, all the heat from all the stuff that I did before was coming. So he was trying to fire me off Big Blue, and he would say, hey, I changed the passwords on you. And I would say, oh, you did? I just changed it back. It's all good. No worries. So, we were making money. I was looking at the database, and I realized I wasn't getting my fair share. So I was like, hey, man, can we bump up my pay? And he's like, I don't even want you here in the first place. So what I ended up doing is when I got rejected, I went into the database, and where all the, he would manually do the withdrawals, and I would just put all my Bitcoin addresses, different ones. So when he went to pay, he just paid all my addresses, which caused a big stir on Dread. People were like, hey, I have a Trezor wallet. My thing starts with a 3. This is, it's not the right address. So, somehow he still tried to keep the market running. This is around Christmas of 2019. In an effort to make a way to pay back all the vendors, after the money got stolen from a PHP exploit somebody did. So, but he went on Christmas and shorted, he took the markets exchange, the funds, and shorted Bitcoin. And in 45 minutes, lost everything. It wasn't an exit scam. He really just lost everybody's money. All right, moving on. So, with my, hatred for Empire came back. Empire was going on, and then D-Snake, if you remember from Alphabet, he was the security admin, came back. And he came back, he was pissed. I really believed that the whole reason Alphabet 2 came back was just to throw it in the Fed's faces, and they did. And it was awesome too because, well, I'll get into that. So, he noted. So what qualified to me for work there? He hated Empire just as much as I did. He knew me from before. He, people knew, so I got on. But he knew that with all the heat coming from Big Blue and all the things that I couldn't work on the market. And personally, everybody wants to do tickets. It's not fun. You're like arguing with some guy, some heroin guy that's trying to rip everybody off. It's just horrible. I hate tickets. Don't put me on them ever. Anyway, so the job I would have to do is I couldn't work on the marketplace, but, we had a bunch of other markets, and the way that it was, even with Alphabet, you kind of got to get in line, and your 6 months comes up, and then you can promote. With Alphabet, the good thing was, to promote, that was my job, was to promote the market. I would also find other markets to try to attack, sabotage them, And every time I was successful, I would get a bonus. So like every month I would have my base pay, and then with all the stuff I knocked off, would add to my bonus. And I was clearing a lot of money. It was nice. So yeah, we would, we did FUD. I would fish dread accounts, and everybody said, hey, why would you use dread accounts? They're worthless. But I would always say the upvotes on dread go a long way. You can take these accounts, you don't want to comment on them, but upvote 2 or 3, you could put it on the front, it would float. I think they've changed it, they've upgraded it, but it would float, and you would be able to get your FUD or whatever message you wanted to craft. Now, no one would believe it, but you always got your 10% that are idiots, So over time, FUD campaigns would work that way. So what else I would do is we had phishing links that we needed taken down. So I would go create offshore accounts in Panama, pay the lawyers in XMR, and have the lawyers go to Google, go to DuckDuckGo, which uses Bing. I found that out through this whole thing, and try to legally send down requests to get these phishing links taken down. This is what you could do. The same thing with the now everybody. It's all the rage to go back on the ClearNet. You could take down their ClearNet sites the same way. Also, we needed ways to market. So I would take over Wikipedia. If you've been to the Alphabet Wikipedia, you'll see Darknet history, web history. For DEF CON, if you click it, I put, hey, I'm the speaker at DEF CON. You can see I did Alphabet, I did Archetype, I did Drug Hub, and they all paid me like 10 racks for Wikipedia edits. It was amazing. Chef's kisses. But we were able to put our onion on there, the correct onion too, so when you would type in Alphabet, to get away around a lot of the phishing, Wikipedia would pop up first. And it was nice. So, to close it, I got 5 minutes left. Creative compliance, we'll skip that. DEF CON 31. I was here at DEF CON 31. I was at the win. Blacked out drunk, took a really bad beat, lost 21K. Didn't want to upset the wife, so I had to figure something out. Quick. So what I did is I knew there was a site, and they were Ukrainians, and this Russia-Ukrainian war was kicked off. So I look around for documents to see if I can find something FBI-ish, and then just falsify it, and then see if I could pull off, I was gonna tell the guy, hey, they're using your market to do all these illegal transactions. The feds are hot on it. I have this document. I don't know how I got it. He paid me 20K for it. I got my money back, nice. And then they closed the next day. I wasn't intending for that to happen. They literally closed the next day off this bullshit. Hug Bunner was pissed. I was all, well, I am retiring, everybody. And got me on this. What are you doing? You're upsetting the market order. All because you're blackout drunk, losing money. All right, so the conclusion is this life is very stressful. It's not for everybody. You know, you have to be tight OPSEC all the time. Like when I decided that I wanted to stop getting out of there and try something new, I worked with Sam Bent, who actually pushed me to do this talk on Darknet Discussions podcast, and I realized that I know jack shit when it comes to modern. I felt really bad. I was like, man, how do I not know how to use Adobe Photoshop? But I've been on Unix and I can write code. I needed a change. So that's pretty much it. I do have some predictions. I'm going to be gone. I'm going to retire on my own terms. I never went to prison. I never pointed my finger and snitched on anybody. I'm done. Hopefully, you learn this and don't do what I did. Hopefully the cops don't get me either. But with AI taking jobs of developers, I do think, more people are going to be coming on to Dread and, expand the talent pool. There's very, very, very talented people. With Roger over here, he was talking about he don't need us. How about offer us jobs? That would be nice, Roger. Give us some jobs. And maybe we can help Tor without being bad people or whatever you say. And it will continue to grow. I talked to the new king, because there was a big round of bus coming up. And he, just like me, was a market worker, now an admin. And I believe that he's going to be a 5-year market drug hub. He comes from a lineage of, these admins are really good. Mr. White was probably one of the best ever to do it. So that's the new sheriff town. So there's going to be markets coming. And with every, jobs going away, I think people are going to be coming over there because it's easy money. And that's it. And it's just good. It's never going to stop. You can't bust your way out of this. So that's the end of my talk. I want to thank people, Malwort, Hugbunner, Paris for the research I did. I talked to a lot of people for research. Drug Hub, I want to say Sam Bent, my friend Wagwan, and then I wrote Monopoly Official. If you know anything about them, they hated me. Anyway, I wrote him in jail, let him know that I was doing this. Turns out the FBI only got half the operation. The person that I know as Milky is out free, which is awesome. But writing him, I did strike up a friendship, and I do want to tell everybody, write Milmar DeSinca at FCI Fort Dix, send non-nudes. Thank you.